Early on in the Black Ops 6 campaign, you'll get access to a special safe house that will be your base of operations through the game. If you listen to some of the character dialogue or read some of the notes dotted around, you'll realise there's more to this base than meets the eye. It's holding a secret, and it all builds up to being able to open a safe that's in an upstairs bedroom. In this video, I'm going to walk you through all of the steps to unlock that safe. You can do it all in one go as soon as you get to the safe house, so there's no reason not to do it straight away, and you unlock this cool knife blueprint for your troubles. Now, before you jump ahead of me, no, you can't just use the code that I used to unlock the safe. It will be randomized for your game, so you do have to follow the steps to get your code, which will unlock your safe and get you the knife, as well as $1,000, which you can spend on upgrades and stuff. So the way you're meant to find this puzzle is to find this note in the greenhouse that gives you some clues on what to look for. So it asks you to crack the bedroom safe. It's saying you should get the furnace going, investigate the piano, get rid of the bats, I don't really know what that's about. If you do know, let me know in the comments. And investigate the sealed bunker beneath the house. And that's what we're going to be doing. So the first step you really need to do is, if you go into the room where the piano is, you should be able to find a black light on a little coffee table. So pick that up because you're going to be using this quite a bit. Then if you look at the piano, you'll see above the keys, there's all of these little codes with a couple of letters in them. So you can see over the middle D right there is PE. Now, if you look around the room with the black light turned on by pressing left on the D-pad, you'll see that there's all of these instructions. So the first one says M for me, then the second one is PE, the third one is C, and then that weird N. And then the fourth one, you have to go quite a long way, all the way along the next wall, and then you'll find the fourth one. There's a little arrow just there, and then the fourth one's just there with the weird A and O. And then if you look down, the 5 is PE. So those are the notes that we need to play on the piano. So go back to the piano and play those 5 notes in order. It might not be the same order as what I have. I think all of this is randomized, so you might get a different one. But then that will open up this secret door that will lead down into the bunker. But unfortunately, you can't get into the bunker. There's a little red light just next to the door, and that's because the power is switched off for down here in the bunker. To get the power turned on, you need to go to the furnace room. So if you just go out of the main kind of operations room and then round the corner and open up this little door that's a little bit hidden, you'll find the stairs that go down into the basement, into the cellar. There's some intel down there if you're looking for that kind of thing, but then there's also a doorway that goes through into the furnace room. The furnace room puzzle is pretty easy. So if you just read the note by the door, it gives you some clues on how to do it. It says if you turn a pilot light on with the fuel line fully open, it doesn't work, the boiler's got a leak, so it's best to fill the boiler with water once the flame is already good and steady. So you've got 3 different things that you can interact with. There's the pilot light, there's the fuel, and then there's the, I think it's like the water pressure or something. There's the thing that's leaking. So you can turn the fuel down a little bit there, and then what you can do is, using this valve, completely turn off the water leak. That should let you turn the pilot light on. Once you turn that, that should switch that on. And then if you put the water on, if you just put it to halfway, not much happens there. I ended up just having a look around and sort of double checking, so I wasn't really sure what was happening. But if you actually turn the water all the way, then you won't be able to interact with anything else here, and that lets you know that it's all switched on. You'll be able to hear it change a little bit, but once you can't interact with anything, then you know it's working. So you just need to turn the fuel down a little bit, make sure that you completely close that leak, and then you can turn the pilot light on, and then you open up the water all the way, and then that will restart the power. And that means now you can get into the bunker. So I'll show you the path to get up to the bunker again. So just go up through those stairs, go through this little alcove bit, and then you should be able to find a hidden door again, just down these stairs. And now you can open the door at the bottom of the stairs. When you go through there, you can see there's kind of like a little reception area type bit for this bunker. There's lots of weird little hidden details in here that are kind of interesting. There's some kids' drawings and stuff like that that are reused elsewhere. There's some extra little bits of intel, some little notes dotted around like this one that give you a little bit of the backstory of what sort of thing was going on down here, but this isn't something that you need for a puzzle. To be honest, all of the puzzles are pretty straightforward from now on. I think you've done the most difficult ones already. Just next to the note, you'll notice a keypad there, and if it's the first time doing it, you'll get the tutorial. You have to do this a few times in the campaign that shows you how to unlock it, but it's just one of those simple things where you have to pick the numbers and then it will tell you how many are right, how many are wrong, and how many are the right numbers but in the wrong place. If you use a black light on a keypad, you can see numbers that have been pressed, so that gives you an idea of which numbers to use. Just put them in any order, and then you can see if they've got a green tick, okay, you can repeat that one every time. It's like playing Wordle. And then if they're yellow, you need to try them in different locations, and if they're red, then you just don't try them again. It's a super simple puzzle. This is actually the hardest version of this puzzle in the game. You see it later in the campaign, and there's only like 3 digits, which means it's super fast to do. But even with 5 digits, this isn't going to take you too long to do it. So you can see here I got 9 right straight away. So now I'm trying all the other ones. And because I'd actually run out of numbers that had fingerprints on, I realized that there had to be duplicates of one of the numbers. And luckily I tried duplicating one first, and that happened to be the right one. So now because they're all green and yellow, I know I've got all the right numbers. I just need to rearrange them. And don't waste your time trying ones where you've already tried them. So I can see, okay, I haven't tried one in the first location, that works, and so on. And then that gets you into the server room. Obviously, these are like super old-fashioned style servers. So if you read this, it says access to the observation room and cell will only be granted via the terminal in the mainframe room. So now you need to do another one of the types of little puzzles that you have to do a few times in the campaign, interact with a terminal, and it will ask you to hack the computer. Now, I find these unbelievably easy. There's a tutorial there explaining how to do it, but basically you get a code at the top in numbers, you get the key at the bottom of the screen, and I think with the exception of one time in the campaign, all the other times they're really basic words that are pretty obvious. So normally by the time you've got the first couple of letters done, you know exactly what you need to do and how to unlock it. So this first one, the first number in the code at the very top is 0, and if you look at the bottom, 0 corresponds to H, and then 2, look at the bottom, that corresponds to O, and then 8 at the bottom, that corresponds to L. So I can already kind of see, oh, this is holding, because we're trying to get into the holding cell. So then you can just kind of type in the rest. I think this was the very first time I was doing it, so I was actually trying to work it out properly, just in case it threw some sort of curveball. Then once you've done that one, it will give you another one. There's a few in this one. So you can see there's a 3, so that is B, 4 is U, 6 is N, 2 is K, and then you can sort of see, oh, it's spelling bunker. Now I started picking up on how this works, and I can see that's just how you solve them. These are, you know, kind of puzzles designed for children, I think. So next, say holding bunker, and then I could realize that that's room, even with the repeated letters in the middle. That was pretty obvious. And then you can see, okay, 9 is O, and then 5 is P, so that's going to be open. It's very unlikely to be opal, which I think is the only other word that begins with OP that's got 4 letters. I suppose Opry, like the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, maybe. Don't know. Anyway, once you've done all of those, that actually unlocks another door, and it took me a little while to work out which door it is that's open, because all of these bloody corridors look the same. So I was wandering around, I accidentally started reading that again because I wasn't really sure. If you go through here, then you can see the windows and stuff, and I realized, oh, this is just the way that we came in, so that's not right. So you can come out of that room, and then if you turn right, now you'll be on the right corridor and where you need to be. So that's opened up that bit. So now you're in the kind of holding cells, you're in the interrogation room, and you can see some photos of some of the people that are there. And if you read this little bit, it says that somebody swallowed the key and Vitaly needs to get it out of him by any means necessary. This is a bit like Saw or something. It's kind of gross. So now you get to do the last type of puzzle, the sort of mini game type thing that you have to do in a campaign. You have to pick a lock. To do this, you just use your left joystick to kind of rotate it until you see it highlighted, then hold it in that position until it locks the pin in place, and then it moves on to the next one. I'm not sure how you do this with keyboard and mouse. If someone could let me know in the comments, I'd be kind of interested. Anyway, the key's just on the table. You don't need to do anything gross. The gross thing has already happened and is just kind of implied by this. Although this game doesn't hold back on gore most of the time. I was really surprised at how gory the campaign was. I just finished the campaign a few hours ago, and I was really like shocked at how gory it gets sometimes. But anyway, so now you've got the key. You can move back in through this corridor. Again, I was a little bit confused about what this key would actually unlock at this point. All of these corridors really do look the same, and now I've just remembered I told a lie. There is actually one more type of puzzle that you have to solve in a campaign, and that's what we're going to be doing next. So now if you come out of this corridor, you actually need to turn right. I went the wrong way again, but then I worked it out pretty quickly. I worked out which way to go. And now you can unlock this door, and you can see you get this signal thing. That's always when you've got a radio to tune. So in here it says, oh, the safe is actually this kind of competition type thing. And you realize that this is all set up to keep some secret agents busy, basically. This is just like a fun little game for them. Or a test, I suppose, maybe. But anyway, you need to find a radio in this room, so you can kind of just look around. And if you look with the black light, you'll see there's some numbers. But you need the radio first, and you need to try and match up the wavelengths. This is a really, really easy one again. So you're just using the left stick to adjust the amplitude, the right stick to adjust the frequency, and you're just trying to get the white curve to look the same as the green curve. Super easy to do. If you fiddle around with it, you could probably do it by mistake. Now you get this Russian voice that will read your message, and it will be different for your game. I know somebody else that's done this. They got different clues, so you need to work this out for yourself. But basically, it will tell a little story, and it's referring to objects around the room. So my one started off saying he slumped on the couch, so I had to use the first number, which is on the couch, which is a 3 there. Then I had to go and find his wife's purse, which is actually hanging up on that coat rack just there, and that's got a number on it too. I think it took me quite a long time to try and find the purse. Don't worry too much about the connections between the items that they're saying. So it's saying there his wife's purse is still missing. It's still missing. That doesn't really matter. It's just kind of a little bit of flavor. The only thing that you're looking for are the objects that it's talking about. So he slumped on the couch, talking about the couch. His wife's purse was missing. You're looking for his wife's purse, which, like I said, is on the coat rack just there. So I can see, okay, so it's 3, then 1. Then it says he noticed a calendar marked with his brother's birthday. For me, the calendar is actually behind the sofa on the wall. This took me an annoyingly long time to find, so I'm going to skip ahead a bit. There we go. I found it. I mean, it was only like 30 seconds, but it felt like it took a long while. So that's 319 now. I know the code. And the last one says just under the memorial flag. The number's actually above the memorial flag. It's just a big flag on the wall. So I knew it was going to be a 9. So I already had the code in my head now. So all I had to do was go back and find the safe. Those numbers are the answer to the safe code. It's very confusing upstairs where the safe is, but I'll show you where it is. I got very, very lost. But if you walk all the way around here, then you can find the staircase. Luckily, it's quite well lit. And then up the staircase, I think you actually just go up the staircase and turn left. But I made this much more confusing than I needed to and ended up walking around the whole of the upstairs area. So you can see I go out here, and then you can go across this little bit, and then if I turn left here, then go into this bedroom. This is where the safe is. So now you can interact with the safe. Just type in the code that you got, and then if you got one of the numbers that you weren't quite sure about, that's fine, because you could just try it, because as soon as you get the right code, it unlocks and it gives you $1,000 of money and the case cracker blueprint for the knife, which is a pretty cool blueprint, I think. So there we have it. That is the entire thing. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, turn your notifications on for more Easter eggs, particularly in zombies coming over the next few days, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.